The rain had just started when Daniel Harper checked the delivery address for the third time, balancing a bouquet of white lilies and red roses against his shoulder while trying to shield the receipt from getting soaked. As a single father of a 7-year-old daughter, Lily, he didn't have the luxury of mistakes. Every delivery mattered. Every tip meant school supplies, rent, groceries, or the small pink ballet shoes Lily had been begging for. He used to be an accountant before life unraveled, before hospital bills drained his savings and grief reshaped his world. Now, he worked for a high-end floral company, driving across the city delivering love stories in vases while quietly burying his own. That evening, the order was urgent, a luxury suite at the Grand Crescent Hotel, paid in advance, with a simple note that read, "For the one who still believes in destiny." Daniel didn't have time to wonder what that meant. He rushed through the hotel lobby, feeling out of place among marble floors and glittering chandeliers, rainwater dripping from his worn jacket. The receptionist barely glanced at him before pointing toward the private elevator reserved for VIP guests. The room number matched the invoice. He knocked twice. Silence. Then the door slowly opened. Standing before him wasn't the cheerful bride or anniversary couple he expected. It was a tall woman in her late 30s, dressed in an elegant silk gown, her posture confident but her eyes tired, lonely in a way that money couldn't hide. This was Victoria Hale, though Daniel didn't recognize her at first, the reclusive tech billionaire who owned half the city's skyline. She looked at the flowers, then at him, confusion crossing her face. "I didn't order these," she said softly. Daniel's heart sank. He checked the receipt again. Wrong room. 1 digit off. He immediately apologized, his face flushing. "I'm so sorry, ma'am. I must have mixed up the numbers. I'll take them back." But before he could step away, Victoria noticed something else, the way he held the bouquet carefully, as if flowers deserved respect, the way he avoided eye contact not out of arrogance but humility. "Who are they for?" she asked. Daniel hesitated, then admitted he wasn't sure anymore. The note didn't include a sender's name, just destiny. Victoria gave a faint smile, the kind people wear when they've almost forgotten how. "Come in," she said unexpectedly. Daniel froze. He had another delivery waiting. But something in her voice, quiet, almost pleading, made him step inside. The suite was breathtaking, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, champagne chilling on a silver tray, candles half-burned as if someone had been waiting hours for a moment that never arrived. Victoria explained that she had once believed in grand gestures, but after years of building her empire, relationships had become transactions, trust became contracts, and love became a rumor. Tonight was supposed to be different, she admitted, glancing at the untouched dinner set for two. But I suppose destiny had other plans. Daniel didn't know why he spoke next. Maybe it was the rain. Maybe it was exhaustion. Or maybe it was because loneliness recognizes loneliness. He told her about Lily, about how she insists on reading bedtime stories even when he's too tired, about how she thinks her dad is secretly a superhero because he always shows up. Victoria listened like no one had spoken honestly to her in years. There was no pity in her expression, only curiosity and something warmer. When Daniel finally realized he had stayed too long, he stood abruptly. "I really should go. I'm sorry again for the mistake." Victoria looked at the flowers still in his hands. "Leave them," she said. "Consider it a delivery to the right room after all." He refused at first, explaining company policy. But she insisted, and slipped a generous tip into his pocket when he wasn't looking. As he reached the door, she asked one last question. "Do you always look this worried, Mr. Harper?" "Daniel Harper." "Do you always look this worried, Daniel Harper?" He gave a small laugh. "Only when I'm trying not to fail the one person who believes in me." That answer lingered long after he left. The next morning, Daniel was called into his manager's office, fearing he'd be fired for the delivery error. Instead, he was informed that a private client had requested him specifically for future orders, double pay. The name on the account made his stomach flip, Victoria Hale. Over the following weeks, their conversations grew longer. What began as scheduled deliveries turned into coffee in the hotel cafe, then dinners where Daniel spoke about budgeting for Lily's school trip while Victoria confessed she didn't know how to attend a child's recital without security guards. She was powerful in boardrooms but unsure in playgrounds. Daniel was financially struggling but emotionally grounded. He never treated her like a billionaire. He treated her like a woman who hadn't been asked how her day was in a long time. Lily met Victoria one afternoon when Daniel had no choice but to bring her along on a delivery. Instead of being intimidated, Lily offered Victoria a crayon drawing of Daddy the Flower Hero. Victoria laughed, really laughed, for the first time in years. Something shifted that day. Money had built Victoria's world, but love began rebuilding her heart. Gossip columns exploded when photos surfaced of the billionaire dining with a delivery driver. Investors whispered. Friends warned her. He's after your fortune. But Victoria knew something they didn't. Daniel had no idea how much she was worth until weeks after they met. And when he found out, he grew distant, not greedy. I don't belong in your world, he told her one evening, standing once again at a doorway, this time not by mistake. Your world is lonely, she replied. Mine doesn't have to be. The proposal didn't happen in a ballroom or on a yacht. It happened in Daniel's small apartment kitchen while Lily was asleep in the next room. Victoria knelt first. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to choose him openly. Marry me, Daniel Harper, she said. Not because I need a husband. But because I need the kind of love that shows up in the rain. Daniel's eyes filled. He thought of every night he felt invisible, every fear of failing his daughter, every delivery that felt like watching someone else's happiness. And here was a woman who had everything except what he had been protecting all along, heart. He said yes. The wedding was private, intimate, not splashed across headlines. Victoria signed a prenuptial agreement that protected Daniel more than herself. She funded a children's literacy foundation in Lily's mother's memory. Daniel didn't stop working immediately. Instead, he helped expand the floral company into a national brand, turning mistakes into milestones. Years later, when asked in an interview how she met her husband, Victoria smiled and said, he delivered flowers to the wrong room. But he delivered hope to the right heart. And if this story touched you, if you believe destiny sometimes hides inside mistakes, make sure to subscribe to this channel, because here, we don't just tell stories about wealth. We tell stories about heart, resilience, and the kind of love that shows up when you least expect it.